What is destiny? The inevitable fate is what happens in our lives. It is something we cannot control. Whether it happens by natural or accidental means, we cannot control it. We don't decide which family we are born to, whether it's rich or poor, full of love for evil, whether it's plagued by disease or healthy. Sure, all of these things have some impact on us as human beings, how we develop, but the person who manages to realize that external circumstances are only secondary and the main thing is how he or she is and what he or she chooses to do with his or her life, what he or she chooses to do every moment, that's the main thing. Life is much less about all the things around us than what we do with the time we have while we live. Another factor that has a big impact on our future is education. In Iceland today, children and adults are generally educated well, and access to education is quite good, no matter what level it is. But in many parts of the world, children and adults do not have access to education. Having lived abroad, I've come to understand how good the education system is in Iceland, because it is created for all of us, and we all get access to it. We can be what we want. We can develop the skills in us that we value most. There are still many things that could be improved. I think society would be richer if more people understood the laws of logic and listened to each other a little better. That would be a step forward. It seems that some people go through life without raising a finger, but most of us find jobs to make a living and provide for our families. The jobs we get have an impact on how we do in life. Most of us can choose our jobs, except for those in the world who grow up in slavery and don't get any opportunities to grow up and prosper with a good job. Sometimes we get bad bosses, sometimes the companies go bust, sometimes people are laid off. There are many things that can happen in this area that we have no control over. We have no choice about who we are in our family as children, but when we make connections later on, both friendships and romances, we have a choice. But we can never predict exactly whether we are right when we choose to spend time with another person. Whether we can't predict that the relationship will break down with time, or whether people's attitudes and values will change so much that they won't see anything in common with each other anymore. We don't necessarily control anything, but rather the need that most of us have to love another person, to start a family, to build a home. It's like something in the animal of human nature that drives us there. Health is something else that we have little control over, whether it's physical or mental health. Who knows that individuals have all kinds of illnesses all their lives? Some illnesses lead to death, and they don't ask about people's age. Babies, old people, and people of all ages can suddenly get sick and die, and that's not something we can control. We can try to do that by educating doctors and keeping healthcare operational, but all our systems still don't control what we don't control, nature itself. What happens is destiny, and we have chosen, should we regret what happens or love it. The choice affects how we live our own lives. Opportunities come and go. We don't control it. On the other hand, we control what we do with these opportunities. Do we accept them or reject them? How do we make the right choice? I choose according to my own values and the virtues I cultivate in myself. There is no guarantee that you choose correctly, but it is better to choose what you believe is right than to do it at random, because when we have a choice, it is more valuable than when fate rules everything in our lives.